and he never really recovered from that injury.
It was very fast. Yeah. Well, he had walking pneumonia before he left the tour. So it's possible he would have had to cancel anyway, but because he was not diagnosed with pneumonia when he left Nashville. So it kind of was all. It was a perfect tragedy storm.
Yeah,
tragedy. But yeah, I've known Todd since 1990, and we stayed best friends and email mates, and we texted all the time.
Just like you didn't know that Jeff Workman was besties with John Lennon, I didn't know that you were friends with Todd either.
Yeah, we were very, very close. We were. It was hard. I was with him in the hospital with his mom and Elizabeth Cook when
was he conscious at all?
He was not. He was in a coma. But yeah, tough one. But he made a lot of great music that is out there for everyone to enjoy. Happy to be here, East Nashville Skyline. He made it. It was he was like really, really smart. It comes off as he presented himself as like a stoner, but he was. I had a really great moment I brought Lydia lunch to Nashville to this Monday night thing. I was doing this Monday night residency, and every week I drive up there and I bring somebody with me. And so this one time I brought Lydia, and we stayed with Todd. We stayed overnight with Todd for like two or three nights, and they both get up at like 5 a.m. and start writing. I mean, at 5 a.m, like there's this goth girl and Todd, and they're like they're already up. She's chain smoking, he's smoking pot, and it was this really.
Lydia's records in my vinyl collection, so I bought her records when they came out.
Yeah,
she's super cool.
Yeah, she was our my on and off roommate in New York for a while. Yeah. But she's another one. Just keeps working. Works very hard, and I really appreciate. I love people who keep on doing. Like I have this song called Ian McClay that I'm going to play tonight. It's a song just about how some people, they do one thing, they talk about it all their life. Like if I open for the Beatles, I just talked about opening for the Beatles.
Yeah, that is a story you could tell for your life. But Jeff Workman didn't talk about it.
No, and he just kept on doing. So I really always appreciate. Whether you're a musician.
Was quirky with him, right? Because most people that had that opportunity would never stop talking about it.
Yes.
But he understood that one thing about the music business, which is you're only as good as your last hit.
Yeah.
So you just got to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you live in the past, you're not going to move forward.
Yes. Ooh, I like that. Yes.
And that's why you keep moving forward. Because you keep doing new things.
I keep making new records. Yeah. And I keep playing with good people that challenge me. I keep learning. I keep watching people music-wise learn. And
isn't that the key, though?
It is, and it's
to
important.
Keep learning, because the minute you think you've learned it all, it's going to bite you in the ass.
Right. I mean, that's I have been a mentor for some folks, but really the secret is I've just had a front row seat to their genius that I've learned from Aaron Lee Tash and Todd Snyder. Just watching, being on stage with Lauer, being that close to Lauer, being that close to Sadler Vaden. I'm always learning, watching, I use that opportunity to sit, when I was working at Radio Doctors in Milwaukee, all I wanted to do was meet musicians. Like, I wanted to see what it was like. And then accidentally, I started a magazine called the Shepherd Express.
Yeah.
But all I really wanted to do was, it dawned on me one time when I was playing with Warren Haynes. It's like, he's sitting he's a foot away from me. I'm like, this is all I really wanted, to have a front row seat to watch how this unfolds and works in person, so close, and not, made me a good, I really enjoy being a listener. I really enjoy, all of my friends, whenever they make a record, I buy it. I mean, if I hear, and some of my friends are making better records than they've ever made, the last Solace Island record is a really good record. It's just... Well,
the record is it's like a lost art now, because it used to be a record meant something, and people played it from start to finish, and it was
Right.
an experience and a journey, right? And vinyl really gives you that. There was a disconnect with CDs because they didn't really draw you in like a warm fireplace.
There was a couple that like I really liked the first. Was it the Wilburys that had like little spaces like this is where you would normally turn the record over or something?
Yeah,
Remember that? I thought it was like breaking the fifth wall. It was kind of a cool. I think CDs became convenient, and a lot of people put way too much stuff on them. I think what happened with CDs is because there was so much more room.
you could put 70 minutes on it. Let's fill it up.
And I gotta tell you, no one. I love a lot of people, David Bowie, R.E.M., but I mean, Rolling Stones, all that. I love them all. But 40 minutes is really 45 minutes is a good story arc. Like hearing demo versions of all the songs is kind of like, okay.
Yeah, well, that's what all these box sets are now.
Right.
You got Black and Blue
Yeah.
came out, and it's got 100 songs on it. You're like, well, let's do a deep dive.
30 takes of Nate Negrita.
Yeah.
It's like, that's good because I love that song.
Yeah.
But,
Hey, 10 takes of Hot Stuff's pretty cool, too.
unbelievable.
Cheerio,
That
baby.
was my first Rolling Stone tour I ever saw.
Oh, Black and Blue?
Black and Blue, yeah. They had Ron Wood as special guest.
No, yeah.
Faces.
Yeah, you'll appreciate this. Do you remember the Black and Blue thing that hung off the ceiling in record stores?
You
Did you
know
ever
what?
see one?
Oh yeah.
With the beat up woman
It was
on it?
Spinal Tap. That's where
Yeah.
Spinal Tap came from.
It was-
It's like we're like, yeah, but you're not.
I knew you would know. You would have seen one.
It was on Billboard.
Yeah. Do you know
on
how much
Sunset.
how much those things cost now?
No. Oh
They're
my
crazy expensive if you can find one.
Probably 1,000.
Yeah,
That was a great record, though. I thought that was a really good record.
it's one of their faves of mine. Of their
I didn't like
recent
it.
years.
I didn't like Fool to Cry. I always skipped over that one.
No.
But there's a lot of great stuff on there. I like Fool to Cry now. But
Yeah, it grows on you after 10
But Hey
years.
Negrita is like,
Yeah.
I've done that riff over sound check many times.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm sorry I missed your sound check. I would have liked to
Well,
heard you
maybe I'll
doodle that.
maybe I'll do an interlude today.
There you go. So, and you'll appreciate this, and this is like two friends, sharing funny stories. But
It's only part one.
yeah, we're going to do more. But so I always wanted to meet Jack Holtzman, right?
Yeah.
And because he started Elektra Records, McDougal, the folk
Oh,
scene,
yeah.
Tom Rush, and all that stuff, and then of course, the Doors, and MC5, the Stooges. Like, how great! I mean, like he got the best of the '60s, and he totally got Detroit with the Stooges and MC5.
Yeah.
But the closest I got to him while I was at Elektra was his brother Keith Holtzman ran the Classical Nonesuch label, right?
Okay. Sure.
Okay. Some
Radio
really
Doctors
avant-garde,
are very
cool
good.
stuff on Nonesuch. But,
Yeah.
I finally got a lunch with him.
Really.
Yeah. Yeah, Keith, his brother, set it up. And so I was at Geffen by then. I wasn't at Elektra anymore. But the first thing that Jack Holtzman said to me, he goes, David Geffen ruined my label. I said, what do you mean? He goes, oh, Jackson Brown, all that. He goes, Elektra was meant to be on the cutting edge, of whatever music. It wasn't meant to be the Southern California sound. And I thought, well, that's kind of controversial, but I just listened. I rolled with it. I wasn't going to say anything bad about David Geffen. David Geffen was really good to me, But so he then says to me, he goes, I don't know why would you put out a record more than 30 minutes long, 38 minutes tops?
Really?
And I said, Guns N' Roses, they want to fill up 2 CDs of music. He goes, Tom, let me tell you something. He goes, it's New York. He's like, nobody wants to listen to more than 30 minutes of music. They're not going to listen to any song over 4 minutes. Tops, 3 minutes is ideal. And he goes, I put out 3 Doors albums in 1 year. And I thought, well, I was like too young to get the Doors, but you know, by the time I was 13, I went back and bought them all, and Jim was already dead. But I said, which 3 albums? And he named them. I go, I would have never known that. He goes, yeah, well, one came out in December, one came out in April, and one came out in November. And, he goes, now you would put those 3 albums on one disc and no one would ever hear them all,
Yeah.
He goes, there's no point in putting out a record unless you make every song count, right? And you think about those Doors records, the Stooges, both Stooges records, Funhouse and the Stooges and MC5. He goes, the human being has a very short attention span. He goes, 3-4 minutes tops is optimum, Once you go beyond that, you've lost them. And I said, I don't know, Sweet Child of Mine was 7 minutes long and people were riveted. He goes, yeah, but this is what fooled me. He goes, yeah, but the ending's got a coda, so it's like a whole new song. And I go, okay, this guy's really smart,
He knows.
But it was crazy to have Jack Holtzman tell me, the best thing you can do is get back to 38-minute records, put out 2 records a year from an artist. Don't take 5 years to put out 60-minute records. It's destroying the music business. But it was an interesting perspective.
I love it. Yeah, well, he's right on that one. The last X record was like that. It's like 35 minutes long.
Yeah.
It's a great record, and I really appreciated that it was 35 minutes long.
I'm glad that you listened to the last X record, because a lot of people did not listen to that sort of comeback record.
Yeah, it's a great one.
Well, I signed them to Elektra too. Or did I tell you that? I may not have. That was my second signing after Motley Crue.
Really? Wow.
That was because when I fought, like, the guy that ran the label, I fought him to reissue. When I went to Elektra in 1981, the Stooges records, both of them, and MC5 were out of print. You couldn't even buy them.
Yeah.
They were cutouts,
yeah.
right? Remember cutouts?
Yeah. I worked at Peaches.
Yeah. Cutout king.
Tons of cutouts, yes.
And Peaches is...
That's why people went.
Yeah, but I remember when Peaches opened in Milwaukee. Did you start in Milwaukee?
Yeah, I worked at that.
All right, so you were at that store, and then you went down to Atlanta.
I went. Yeah, I worked at that one. Then I got traded to. I got into Radio Doctors after.
Oh,
I was a 45 buyer at Peaches.
And Radio Doctors was after that.
It was after that.
Oh man, I had it wrong. I thought that Peaches was after Radio Doctors. No, okay.
As far as me working there, no, I worked. Well, I worked briefly. The sound man for this band, the Haskells, was there. I was there. He hired me to work at Peaches because he was the manager there. So I worked there. But then I don't know how I got into Radio Doctors, but it was like going from the farm team. I mean, not that Peaches was a farm team.
Yeah.
But Radio Doctors was like
that was
there. It was the
Midwest.
It was the Smithsonian of the Midwest.
Yeah.
They had one copy of every record that existed.
Yep. I remember
if you needed it, they had it.
It's crazy. So the way things tie together. So Danny Sugarman finds out that I'm the guy that got the Stooges and MC5 records put back in print. So he comes to me and he goes, I got to meet you, kid. Like, I think it's amazing you got those records put back in print and, you're working the catalog. He goes, I want you to help me reissue all the Doors records. And we got a bunch of stuff and unreleased stuff. And so I met Ray Manzarek, and Ray Manzarek had discovered X, and he brought X to me, and they initially no one would sign them, so they went out on an independent label, right? Ray Manzarek, they put indie, they were on Slash Records, and then I brought them to Elektra once I met Ray.
Okay.
Because I'd seen him in the clubs.
What was the first Elektra record?
More Fun in the New World. But really, the first track was the Wild Thing that I did with Michael Wagner.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, the other guy that was in the Roy Thomas Baker sphere and did the first Motley Leather record, Too Fast for Love.
Wow.
I could have just as easily, had you work with him instead of Jeff, but I thought that you would hit it off with Jeff better.
Yeah, I like Jeff. We were pirates together. Andy Johns was the one who couldn't do it. He was supposed to do it.
Yeah, that I couldn't remember who was.
But, yeah, it was Andy Johns.
Yeah, well.
Then Andy Johns called me and goes, Jonesy is going to rehab. I'm so sorry. I wish I could. I'm so sorry. We were supposed to start like Monday. It was like Thursday. So, okay. So,
Well,
Eddie Van Halen made 5150 or something like that.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy.
That's a great record. Well, I think we're getting the signal.
Yeah, I
Should
think
we wrap this up?
We'll wrap up
This is
part one. I'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time.
Are you going to rock it out tonight?
Oh, always.
Are you going to play some of the ballads too?
Always.
You're going to give us a good mix.
I'm gonna make you laugh. I'm gonna make you cry, make you think.
You're going to give me a
Wonder
little
why.
Negrita riff?
Something old, something new, something borrowed, something honeysuckle blues.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, like that. We'll use that.
That's Scott
Like a
Chase's
t-shirt.
favorite song.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that one extra good then
Okay.
for Scott.